Hey guys, it's Mark at JazzStacks. The creative journey of becoming a software developer. I have these two first videos. It's almost 9:30 at night, and in the past 10 days, my learning was interrupted by, of course, regular career. I'm a jazz musician and I'm still a jazz guitar coach. And tonight, I wanted to share with you what happened the past 10 days, but I was able to advance through the software development fundamental course with Tim Ruscica. I'm about 40% complete in the course, which I'm pretty stoked about. And I want to share the screen and show some of the mini projects I've done. They're not really elaborate, but I've been through all of the lessons. Highly recommended. Great explanations from Tim. First off, I created a folder and I set up my VS Code. Everything is local, fantastic. There's basics of HTML and CSS, which those are files I created for instance, semantic HTML and CSS positioning. Even there was a demo which is, hey, this is how we create a page. I've been coding HTML for the past over probably 30 years. This was no biggie. And there's certain things with box models and how we use inline versus elements and blocks. It was a great review. I already see myself as not being so much of a front-end developer as I don't really like designing stuff. I don't have an eye for it, but I really enjoy working on the back end. And already so far with JavaScript, it was fun to work on the logic, even though there's no SQL yet. It's mostly front end, right? So all of the JavaScript, the programming with JavaScript relates to setting up some stuff in the console, but mostly setting up things in HTML that will be responsive, creating dynamic web pages, which I had done in CS50, honestly, with Python and Flask, which was a lot of fun, and SQL for a small database, lots of fun. But now I'm learning JavaScript. I did all of those. And while looking at the lectures with Tim, who, again, Tim, if you're watching this, you're incredible. Thank you. And I'm not affiliated with Course Careers, but highly recommended. The basics of JavaScript, I took notes in separate files. So I took notes for myself with examples, and you could see it with a prompt on the console. Arrays and strings, functions, arrow functions, dynamic conditionals. Oh, that's an HTML file. Sometimes we would just do the JavaScript. Sometimes we do the HTML with some buttons and whatever. Functions, maps, filters, mutability, objects, and I did practice questions. I don't want to go through the practice questions because, quite frankly, they were quite easy. The sixth question was hard, but it was a matter of manipulating objects that had some of the elements within the objects were arrays themselves and more objects. It was more of a brain teaser than anything. Lots of fun. No shame, I'm using ChatGPT to prompt and not to give me full answers, but at least to prompt my logic to see if everything's fine. This was a good 5-6 days for me, and I did learn syntax in that I was already well versed in OOP and creating my own functions and data types, data structures, loops, etc. So if you guys are starting from scratch, this could be a month or 2 or 3 depending on how hard you want to press on it. I've done probably an hour or two per day on average, and I'm still having a blast. I haven't started the OOP concepts, but the reason I'm sharing this video is to show you mini projects that I've done. There's one that I want to do independently that's not working yet. It's called Keep for Gmail. I'm using Keep as our main CRM, and again, not affiliated, but they don't have the feature of having a link with Gmail. Well, they do sync Gmail sent and received with certain contacts, but what I want is to look at a contact from a Gmail page. I have a sidebar, which this idea was beautifully executed by HubSpot, the CRM. HubSpot is a much bigger company than Keep. Of course, they're public. And so that's going to be my own project that I call independence. I'll do a counter, I'll do a quiz, whatever. I haven't done those. So a counter, a quiz, rock, paper, scissors, 2-player memory game. I will do those soon. But what I've done so far, which I would say I'm happy about, I will share my VS Code just because this is what you can expect to build. I have my base here. I have my JavaScript script dragging. My bad. I could probably drag this 3 at the same time. I forgot to do it. Subcode, basic HTML, which I can then render with this live. I forgot the name of this, but the going live. It's a to-do list I wanted to show you. Not very exciting. And I call this sentimental to-do. All my projects are sentimental. Sweep the floor, right? So I coded that so I could press enter or click the button. Laundry. I can click the button and it resets here. That was it. I did the CSS to get the black screen, right? To get the dark mode. And then I went over and beyond what Tim asked, which is to do, I said launder. You have a recently completed items of a maximum of 10 items. And if I have more and more, I can complete them, but I can also undo the complete, which is pretty cool. And that's the end of that. There's lots more that goes into this, but with the functions I'm able to call JavaScript, finding the to-dos and doing the undos and clearing completed, those are very basic, but still was a lot of fun to discover how to do that. So that's it for my to-do list. Let me close this up and show you my other project that I worked on, random password generator. That one was more interesting because I wanted to add more features. There you go, 3 at a time. If I stop the live and I resume the live, you will see this page. Again, I did the dark screen because I like it. It's on Flex, works great. Passwords between 8 and 20 characters, so assume I go 20, 14, and I just hit generate passwords. We will use only lowercase. I can select different boxes and get a password that does include those, uppercase and numbers only, or special characters. And I can clear, and this will reset the 8 and reset these, and I can click once and get the password in my clipboard, which is not very exciting, but it does work. And one of the logic things within the JavaScript, this was done with Tim in the class, right? But the adding of the copy and paste, that's me. The clear button, that's me. The hover and the action, the color, that's done in CSS, which is really basics. The clear is also me. What else? Oh yes, the logic of this is we look at the checkboxes with Tim and we create a big array of all the possible characters, and then we select at random without guaranteeing that we'll have a special character. Assume we have a very short password. It's maybe that we generate one which does not have a special character because randomly we didn't fall onto one. What I did with the help of ChatGPT is really ensure that we are pushing a force insert on at least the first 4. If they're checked, we'll go, let's force that in, and then at the end, let's shuffle them. So it was a bit of more logic. So it represents 10, 12 more lines of codes, but that was my past hour, which was tremendously fun. My next step is to show you the calculator, and that also was done with Tim. So let me get rid of this and show you what I worked on. And the simple calculator has not been modified yet. I wonder if there's anything I want to do. I know it's pretty corny examples. Let me go live with my VS Code and have this. It's great because even if I change a color or anything, it will update in real time, right? That's why I love this. I forgot the name of this extension, but it's in VS Code. Instead of hitting refresh all the time, if you change even one thing, it will change. Let me show you on the fly. If I change X, if I put a star, you can just watch a screen and it just refreshes in real time. That's pretty awesome. And also there's auto saved. I don't ever have to press save or reload. It's really good. I learned some of the fundamentals of Git and GitHub, but I'm not comfortable enough to push those because they're really like long projects, right? So my next steps are really that keep extension plus the other side projects that I can just churn through for an hour or a day or two. And can't put a period before you start doing something else. If you want a period to go 0.223, the only thing I'm worried about is I can go something like this. That's 4, times 2, still equals 8, but we can have trailing zeros at first. I want to fix that. And they'll do exponents, they'll do square or square root, or I'm not sure yet. But since it's such a corny computer science thing to code an app that's a calculator, I'm not sure I want to take it much further because I find it's a bit stupid. But just to get back to my case, to get back to the Jazz Stack idea, which I love. I already bought the domain. I'm having a blast. I'm learning a lot. I can't wait to dig into more of the meta classes. I'm digging into SQL, which I'm already, wouldn't say advanced, but got a good foundation with the CS50. And I want to do Go, which is the backend, the introduction to backend with Tim here. So we'll go oriented object programming, more JavaScript, React, extra resources, then IDE, Git, GitHub deployment, resources, algorithms, data structures, and backend development with Go. So I have never done Go, but it is my intention to finish this, and then we have to branch off front-end, backend, or DevOps, and most likely I'll be doing the backend because I have way more fun coding things that are not necessarily seen, but that work in the background. That's my quick update. Day 1 was June 9th. Actually, this would be day 11, but I have started, I'm pretty proud to say, April 22nd or 23rd. It's been only 2 months, and I'm a full-time business owner and operator. I'm a part-time dad. I'm a proud remarried husband, and I'm a family person. I gotta take care of my health and the house, and I do travel, and I read, and I try to sleep once in a while. For the amount of time I have spent on this, I would say I'm pretty proud, and also I'm pretty happy with what this can bring me in the future. If you have any questions, drop them in a comment or shoot me an email directly, and I will see if probably in the near future, midterm, 2-3 months, 6 months down the line, if I can go on Upwork and start to get gigs for custom APIs and stuff like that. All the best, and it's Mark over and out from JazzStack. Take care. Bye.